the Rendlesham Forest. Apparently back in the 80s there was a UFO sighting there by a load of United States Air Force personnel, and now there's like a UFO trail for tourists that go around through the forestry. So I'm going to have a look around all that. I'll wear just my regular clothes to do that. I won't bother taking my camping gear because I don't look like a weirdo. Because I've never been there before, so I also need to try and see how easy it's going to be to find a spot where I can camp where no one will see me. And then once I've been around there, I'll come back to the car, get changed, grab my camping gear and go back out there. I'm now walking back there because the parking charges there are £3.50 for all day. There are no other options. You can't just stay there for an hour and pay £1.50 or whatever. It's either £3.50 for all day or nothing, and I was literally 2p short of the £3.50, so I've had to park my car a mile down the road and wander back up there now. So that'll be fun later on when I've got my pack and everything. £3.50, greedy bastards. See, there is actually forest camping. I don't know what that'd be like. I guess there'd be various rules and restrictions, and you'd probably be around loads of other people. I don't know if it's just like a regular campsite or what. It would be kind of interesting to check that out if I get time, but I don't know if I will. Forest car park with their rip-off parking charges. Semi-impressive shelter that I guess some kids put together. Even got started on the roof. Not sure it would withstand much rain and wind, but still fun to see that they've tried it. It's really not all that bad for a starter. Right, so I think this is the east gate where the patrolman first sighted and reported the UFO. More information there if you want to pause it and read. Map of the trail. Nice picture. Pretty sure it's padlocked up, so I'm not going to be able to get in there. Nice. Locked up, I think. Oh yeah, definitely. Not getting through that. Shame, would have been nice to have got in here. Because I think it's abandoned now. So it would have been really cool to have been able to explore old abandoned military base. So I guess the patrolman saw the lights kind of in that direction, hovering over and then coming down into the forestry over there. Right, well, the UFO trail has taken me back around in a circle, back past my car, so I've picked up the tripod now, and then I'll continue down the trail with the tripod so I can actually get some better shots. There's actually a trail going into the forest directly opposite where I parked, so I won't have to wander all the way back down to the main visitor centre. That's not really a good place around there to camp anyway, because that's where all the kind of kids and people going walking the dogs and that are. So actually I'm sort of parked in the perfect spot. It's free to park there, and I can easily get into the woods here, and there's loads of places to camp where no one's going to spot me, so that won't be a problem. Something written in the path here, I can't really make out what it's supposed to be. I'm looking at it upside down. WO at the bottom there. N at the top. But don't know what I was supposed to say. First part of the trail was near the visitor centre, and there are kids running around everywhere screeching and hollering, and dog walkers with their dogs barking, which was irritating. But now we're like, the trail's taking me right deep into the forestry, there's no one else about, so it's far better. Gives for a more creepy vibe as well, more creepy atmosphere. Now there's supposed to be like a big UFO statue somewhere out here, so hopefully I'll find that at some point, which actually marks where the UFO was sighted and supposed to have come down. Oh, I can see something mysterious through the trees. Could it be? Don't know what these kind of handprint designs are supposed to be. I don't know if they were details that were reported being seen by the soldiers who witnessed the UFO. Different symbols on them. Well, this is supposedly the spot, or at least in close proximity, to where the UFO was sighted. Now, it was on the 26th of December 1980 that the UFO was reported to be sighted by United States Air Force personnel who were stationed down the road at RAF Woodbridge. The security patrol at the East Gate saw some lights over the forestry descending. I think they thought it was maybe something crashing, maybe an aeroplane, you know, a small aircraft crashing or something, so they reported it, and a small group of soldiers were sent out here to investigate. And they saw a glowing metal object with coloured lights, apparently, I assume, that looked like this, and this is based on their accounts of what they saw. A Deputy Base Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, came along with the soldiers that were investigating, and he corroborated their story. He said that he witnessed these lights moving through the forestry as well, which may give it a bit more validity. But the police were also called in later on, I guess by the US Air Force, but they didn't see anything. It was the next morning that 3 impressions were found in the ground, and I think there are some photographs of them I'm going to try and find, and I'll put them in the video, that could potentially have been scorch marks from where the UFO landed. And it's basically known as UK's Roswell because it's kind of the biggest, most reported and well-known UFO sighting in the country. And because the military were involved as well, obviously. It's not just some local hick, you know, who claims they saw something while they were wandering home drunk from the pub. The Rendlesham Forest UFO sightings occurred at Christmas 1980 over 3 consecutive nights. Collectively, they are described as Britain's most significant military UFO sighting, which is likened to the Roswell incident. At the time, the United States Air Force leased a 2-base complex consisting of RAF Woodbridge on the forest's western boundary, with its runway extending into the heart of Rendlesham Forest, and RAF Bentwaters located 4 miles north of the forest. It is reported that RAF Bentwaters housed nuclear weapons during this Cold War period. The lease of these 2 bases to the US Air Force was part of the defence network of the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, more commonly known as NATO. In the early hours of the first night, 2 USAF security patrolmen reported seeing unusual lights outside the perimeter of RAF Woodbridge. Thinking perhaps an aircraft might have come down, they sought permission to leave the base and enter the forest on foot to investigate. They separated in their search. One described seeing strange lights, the other reports seeing a glowing object that appeared to be metallic and triangular in shape.
As the second patrolman got closer, the object manoeuvred through the trees and disappeared. Reports by senior USAF personnel and local residents record further sightings over the next 2 nights. Interest in the incident reached the highest accolades of both British and American governments. The then British Prime Minister Maggie Thatcher, once briefed on the events, is reported to have said, "Don't tell the people," whilst conflicting accounts argue her comments were taken out of context. Various sceptics have suggested this event was caused by a meteor or site of the then operational Orford Ness Lighthouse seen through the forest tree line. However, neither theory explains the confirmed military radar recordings of an unidentified flying object. I didn't know there were actual radar recordings of something strange that night. That is a bit weird then. That does kind of back it up a bit, as well as the fact that there was quite a senior officer there at the time who says he saw something as well. Another structure someone's built. Little den. Not bad. Poor little fella. I wonder what happened to him. Probably could eat him if I wanted to. I think I'll stick to my beans. I don't know what's going on with his nose. He's got something on there, makes him look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Don't think that's blood. I don't know if it's something he was eating or what. But, perhaps it was aliens. Now, I know this is going to look like a setup, but I swear I didn't write this in here, but someone has put, "Don't look back, run," I think. That's kind of trying to guess what exactly it says. Don, it's got to be don't look back, run. There's another one. It's definitely don't look back, run, or runt. No, I think it's run. I'm a bit more off the beaten track now in Rendlesham Forest. Shouldn't be too hard to find a secluded spot here I can use. There is actually a proper campsite, but obviously I don't want to be around a load of other people with screaming kids and kicking balls around and whatever they do. Well, I've come out of the pine part of the forest now and then across this track here into here where there should be some clearer ground for me to set up camp. In the pine forest there tends to be a lot of bracken and thorns and things growing up. Well, there's camp all set up. I've set up camp, got a fire going and just relaxing now. It's a pretty mild night. You know, I'm down to my t-shirt still and I'm not particularly cold, especially with a fire, but even without that I was quite warm. But might have been because I was actually active, you know, putting the tent up and all that. But can't complain. No sightings of any aliens or UFOs yet. But I think if I am going to see something, it will be more likely after dark. Because apparently they mostly come at night. Mostly. Got a fire going in my little pocket wood burning stove. Also bought a little kind of bacon tray thing with me, just an old one to stand it in. Makes it a bit safer, don't have to worry so much about it lighting anything underneath on the ground. I mean, there's dead leaves everywhere at the minute, obviously, because it's autumn, so kindling all around me to throw on there. Don't know if anyone else has had this problem in England, but there's been so many spiders at home. I'm actually relieved to get out here where I don't tend to come across so many, not those big ones. You know, I don't mind the smaller spiders, but it's those big, I don't know if they're called wolf spiders or harvest spiders. God, I hate them things. And I've had loads of those in the house this year, just scuttling around with their big legs. Oh, God. apparently when I was a baby there was a huge one on my bedroom curtains and I was wailing and crying and Mum and Dad couldn't understand why, and then they spotted it there and it was that they'd scared me, and I don't know if that sort of had traumatised me for life, and that's why I just can't stand those really big spiders now. But there's something about all those legs creeping all over you. Ugh. But I never come across any out here, oddly enough. It's only at home I ever encounter them. They always seem to run at me as well. You'd think they'd be scared of this giant creature, but no, they run straight at me. They can smell my fear. I think I'll wait for the fire to die down now and then go to bed because it's getting pretty late. But it's just nice being out here again because I haven't really been out too much this year. So I'm enjoying it, especially as it is so mild and nice, and the fire's quite relaxing to just sit in front of and admire. It gets dark so early now, it feels later than it is, but I'm quite tired anyway, so I might just go to sleep now. I don't think I'm going to see anything, so catch you in the morning. Michelle Keegan. Laura Legends. You want to share me? I always wake up before the good part. Ah! I lost it. Ah! Oh, for God's sake. Why do I always have these bad dreams at Halloween? Well, it's about 9 o'clock now, I think. A bit chillier today than it was yesterday, but still not too bad. Nice blue sky at least. But, yeah. No strange lights or anything last night. Kind of disappointed. It still was creepy though, to be honest. Knowing that there have been UFO sightings here, it did make it a bit creepier camping out here, to be honest. Like there were a couple of times I heard some weird noises, which I assume were just some kind of vehicle in the background. But there was one time in particular, there was this strange noise. But by the time I got the camera to turn it on to film it, it stopped. But yeah, so it is at the back of your mind about the whole UFOs and aliens thing, but yeah, I didn't see anything, so for us to have something to eat and pack up and get going now. Well, didn't see any aliens last night, no strange lights or anything. Didn't really expect to, but packing everything away now, get going. It's a bit chillier this morning than it was yesterday, even though it's a lot brighter, a really nice day. Woke up with really bad heartburn today, so get home and have some acids or something. Right, that's everything packed away, so I'm gonna get.